God bless Doug Poppa, an honest cop.
See, we did it, Doug. You don't come out, you don't buck the system. No matter what the reason is, you just can basically keep your mouth shut.
The high price one cop is paying for telling the truth.
Welcome, folks, to the Doug Poppa podcast for Monday, October 21st, 2024. This is episode 162. I was going to, in this episode, do a segment on now retired Las Vegas Metro Police Sergeant Sean Lucero. Remember, I broke that story a few months ago. He was arrested for oppression under color of office and felony theft. But I'm going to devote this podcast to the Kevin Menon investigation because there's a lot of stuff coming out on it, and I want to do some past excerpts that I did on highlights from past podcasts. So I will be doing the Lucero story on another episode. But for right now, I posted this on my X on October 11th, and let me get it up on the screen for you. Okay. This was posted on my X account, and like I said, October 11th, I posted it. And that's a Facebook photo, I believe it's from 2023, on Sean Lucero. And then I said, exclusive update. An LVMPD source sent this screenshot to the Doug Poppa podcast. Allegedly, Sean Lucero changed his social media profile picture to this photo of Eggs Benedict. The insinuation being that Lucero was irate that one of his colleagues had turned on him, the sources said. The smiley face emoji is that of retired LVMPD officer Rich Chavez. Another source with knowledge of the investigation revealed the name of the vice detective to the Doug Poppa podcast who first reported Lucero. I will not be releasing the name at this time, and I don't know if I ever will, unless I hear that that person is getting retaliated against, and then you'll hear from me. Then I go on, and I said Lucero's wife works as a civilian employee of the LVMPD, and Lucero was a vice detective years ago, sources said. Now, I was told that he was a vice detective during the time of the LVMPD vice corruption investigation, which happened around between 2013, 2014, 2015. The FBI was involved in that. I did some podcast on it. So did Channel 8 out here. But anyway, that's what I heard. So I'll be devoting a separate podcast on Mr. Lucero. I got a lot of updated information on it, and I want to talk about the information in the declaration of arrest. Okay, now let's get back to today's podcast. What's going on here? Okay, we're good. Let's get this up on the screen. I think you could see the whole thing. I posted this on my X account, formerly Twitter, on October 17th. And it says, update, quote, "The captain has my back," unquote. And then I go on, I say, on May 27, 2024, in episode 154, I broke the story titled Vegas Cops Targeted Citizens on Strip, Violated Civil Rights, Provoked Altercations to Make Arrest. And then I have the link to the YouTube channel of that video, the episode. And I will have all these episodes that you'll see in this episode in the description section as usual of this podcast when it comes out published on YouTube. Then I go on, I said, in that story, I mentioned that Las Vegas Metro police sources told me that Sergeant Kevin Menon made the statement, quote, the captain has my back, unquote. On October 8th, 2024, Las Vegas Metro Police Officer Abigail E. Armijo, if I'm saying it right, Armijo, testified before a Clark County, Nevada grand jury. Quote, the lieutenant was involved in the group chat as well as out with us most nights, so he was seeing the things that were said in the group chat, and our sergeant would constantly say to us, quote, the captain has my back, unquote. So it was a little bit uncomfortable for us to go to the lieutenant and the captain. And then I put on there, note, Officer Armijo was not one of the sources for my May 27th story. And she wasn't. I've never spoken to this police officer. And I put that out there because Metro has a pattern of practice over the years of harassing cops who they think are giving me information. She did not ever give me information. The first time I heard her name was when I read the declaration of arrest. Back on the screen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to do here is about 20-something minutes. I did highlights, excerpts from the previous episodes where I discussed Sergeant Menon, Captain Connell, and comments that were made by Las Vegas Metro police officers. And I put them all into they're excerpts. You'll be able to see all the video. I'll have all those links into the description section of this episode when I publish it. But these are excerpts. They all run in succession from the first to the last. And it'll give you an idea if you're not up on the Menon investigation, so we can get you up to speed, because there's a lot of stuff coming out on this. And then at the end of these video clips, I'll have a short news clip from KTNV 13 Action News Las Vegas. I believe it aired on October 13th. It's a short one. You'll have the full link to that video also in the description section. So right now, let me get these videos rolling, and I'll get off the screen here, and I'll see you at the end of those news clips. One thing I want to do here. Let me go back. I forgot to do this. When I went to the let me go back here on, I think it was 15 input. Yeah. Okay. When I posted that on X, I also had a short video clip relating to when I did my podcast on May 27th, and the comment that was made. And I say so. I forgot to play it for you, but let me play that right now, so you'll see that short the video clip. Sources say that Sergeant Menon was told by other supervisors that what he was doing was illegal and he shouldn't do it. Allegedly, Sergeant Menon's response was, quote, the captain has my back and we're only going after shitbags. Okay, so that was the video clip that was posted on X with the screenshot that I just posted over there. And I've just put out there for clarification because when I was interviewing these cops, when they were talking to me for my podcast, when I broke the story on May 27th, they had told me that Menon was making those comments to cops that the captain has his back. And then when I read the grand jury transcript, and they'll have more on that in future episodes, the officer basically said verbatim the same thing. So I wanted to get that out so you can see it. Okay, let's start these video clips rolling and get this thing going. I'll be off the screen. I'll get this thing on full screen. From Las Vegas, Nevada, This is the Doug Poppa Podcast, episode 154, from Monday, May 27th, 2024, with another exclusive breaking news story. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department police officers harassed, provoked citizens, violated civil rights, and made false arrests on the Las Vegas Strip, according to police sources who spoke to the Doug Poppa Podcast. The allegations I'm about to discuss here are stunning. This illegal police operation involved plainclothes and uniformed cops working out of the Convention Center Area Command under the direction of Squad Supervisor Sergeant Kevin Menon, spelled Menon, according to the sources. Captain Stephen Connell, Connell, is the Bureau Commander of the Convention Center Area Command that covers the Las Vegas Strip. The leadership of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as I have previously reported on over the years, have a pattern and practice of cover-ups and lies. The United States Department of Justice, in my opinion, should take a look at the allegations that were raised in this podcast. Jewish man wearing Star of David falsely arrested at pro-Palestine rally, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department officer says. On May 27, 2024, the Doug Poppa Podcast published episode 154, titled Vegas Cops Targeted Citizens on Strip, Violated Civil Rights, Provoked Altercations to Make Arrest. That episode was followed up on June 3, 2024, with episode 155 titled LVMPD Suspended Sergeant is also a defendant in 2020 violation of civil rights lawsuit. After episode 154 was published, another active duty Las Vegas Metro police officer reached out to the podcast. The officer stated that it had information in reference to my recent podcast episode and suggested that a public records request for video in possession of the LVMPD and arrest information will confirm that the brass are mandating arrest. I asked the officer what was his motivation for reaching out to the podcast. The response was that there are some officers at the Convention Center Area Command who disagree with Captain Connell's actions of skirting the law. The officer said that when Connell took over command, he brought in some of his own people who had worked with over the years in different units. The officer stated that Convention Center Area Command Bureau Commander Captain Steve Connell was on scene and had ordered officers to arrest a man when there was zero probable cause for an arrest. A retired high-ranking police official who read the declaration of arrest told the Doug Poppa Podcast that in his opinion there was no probable cause for the arrest of Dan on November 4th, 2023. Folks, the police officer who reached out to the podcast said there was no probable cause for the arrest. The retired police official reached the same conclusion, and I have to concur with both of them. The declaration of arrest states that Lieutenant Walford approved the misdemeanor arrest. The police officer who spoke to the podcast said that Captain Steve Connell gave the order to make an arrest for anything and take the man to jail. You can't arrest somebody on a trumped-up charge of disorderly conduct when there's no probable cause for the arrest because you think that something may happen if that person is not arrested. And on November 22, 2023, the Clark County District Attorney's Office denied the charge of disorderly conduct against Dan, dismissed and closed the case. Folks, what bothers me about this, there's a lot of similarities between this false arrest and what was described in my episode 154. Here, folks, once again, we have officers from the Convention Center Area Command under the command of Captain Steve Connell and a false arrest for disorderly conduct similar to the false arrest that we discussed in episode 154, Doug Poppa Podcast, episode 157, for Sunday, September 1st, 2024. On Friday, August 30th, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department arrested Las Vegas Metro Police Sergeant Kevin Menon, Menon, 42, and charged Menon with multiple criminal violations relating to the abuse of power. The Doug Poppa podcast was the first media outlet to report on Las Vegas Metro Police Sergeant Kevin Menon, booked into the Clark County Detention Center on 13 criminal charges. Sergeant Menon was charged with 1 count of oppression under color of office with the use of force, which is a felony. 2 counts of subornation of perjury, felonies. 1 count of battery on a protected person, a gross misdemeanor. 8 counts of oppression under color of office, gross misdemeanors. There's a social media site that's it's a police site for current and former Las Vegas Metro police officers. It has nothing to do, it's not sponsored by the police department. And they go on there and they talk about different things to give their opinion. These are some comments. I have the names of the people that made these comments, but that's not pertinent to what's pertinent is their comments talking about the Menon arrest. All I will say is the pressure was put on him, and he put the pressure on his guys. Those who know, they know. This is 100%. However, don't work for people who pressure you to do illegal/unconstitutional shit. They aren't going to suffer any consequences, but you will, as Menon now understands. Yep, at the end of the day, you need to protect yourself because nobody will back you when you're at the lower end of the totem pole. The department pushes that shit. It's up to us to fight back against it, or we'll end up just like this. The only reason so many officers lucked out and haven't faced charges is because no one pursued it. For sure, just look at where the instigator of this crap is, as compared to where the person is who did their bidding. Accountability will always fall on the person who executed the plan, not the higher-up who pushed it. And even though there is no quota, it's still all about the stats. Action meetings, or whatever they're called now, drive this activity. It's not an excuse, but a reason this happens. The system is broken. Oh, you mean like when the department insisted for years on that, quote, party crashers, unquote, bullshit? We violated rights for years, and nobody said shit. Yep, going after the wrong one. Insinuations here that, and I covered this, I think, in some of these other 2 podcasts that I did, that this may have been ordered by higher-ups, okay? That remains to be seen. I don't have that confirmed, but that is the talk within the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department on sources who talk to me. These people doing these comments, I haven't spoken to. Let's get back to this one over here. Oh, you mean like when the department insisted for years on that, quote, party crashes, unquote, bullshit. We violated rights for years, and nobody said shit, okay? I talked to some cops, and I said, what is this person talking about party crashes? What does that mean? And I was told that for years, officers would go to loud party calls, and they would ring the doorbell, knock on the door, whatever. When the door opened, they would enter the residences, even without being invited in. They would go in, and then they would do whatever they had to do, bring charges, make arrests, whatever was going on. But they didn't have a search warrant to go in. They were never invited to go in, but they just more or less barged themselves into these parties. Captain Stephen Connell has been transferred out of command of the the Convention Center Area Command, and he's now the captain in homicide. When I broke the story on Menon, the first one that I did with the making the false arrest, according to what I was told, I received emails from cops who were trying to convince me to drop and stay away from the story. I don't have the exact quotes with me in front of me right now, but it was stuff like, Kevin Menon is a good guy, and cops are making all this stuff up because they don't like him, and, the guy's a Harvard graduate. Welcome, folks, to episode 159 of the Doug Poppa podcast for Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. And if you remember, back on another podcast, remember I did 4 podcasts, I believe, so far on the Menon investigation. I said that I was receiving emails from police officers after I broke the story on May 27th, basically telling me that my information was wrong and to don't do any more stories on this. I found one of the messages here, so I'll read it. And this is one from a police officer. He says, your sources on the strip story are wrong. Appear to have motive other than the truth. Info you're putting out is false. And then he goes on to say, all contacts, meaning the police officers, have body-worn camera that doesn't support the story, which is why it's in internal affairs and not criminal internal affairs or criminal intelligence. You should know. Internal affairs deals with policy violations only. There's nothing to this. And remember, I talked about that. And the information this guy was giving me months ago, he was wrong. My information was correct, and that was proven when the arrest report came out that I read in one episode. I think it was episode 158. I read that entire arrest report. But this is the type of stuff I was getting. And then he goes on to say, you do good work. I know I do. I do great work. Don't let bad sources give you a slanderous mess. Menon is a great sergeant that had one disgruntled, and then he doesn't say anything after that, comma, research him and you'll see. Probably the only cop I know that attended Harvard. Was the best counterterrorism detective on Metro for years. So remember, I talked about this. I mentioned that prior to him being sergeant, promoted to sergeant, Kevin Menon was a Homeland Security detective with Metro, and he worked counterterrorism. And I also said that I heard that he went to the Middle East because he speaks the Middle Eastern language. I think it was Dubai, my sources were telling me. And so this guy was completely wrong, but this is similar to the other messages that I got, but that's similar to the ones I was getting telling me to lay off. And so he's a Harvard graduate. What does that mean? To me, it means absolutely freaking nothing. Maybe he missed the course on civil rights when he was attending Harvard. A ranking member of the police department told me that Sasha Larkin was the assistant sheriff. She's retired a couple of months ago, and I said that out on Twitter. She was also the assistant sheriff when I broke the story of Sheriff Kevin McMahill's alleged affair with her. Anyway, she's retired. According to one of my sources, Sasha Larkin, when she was on the department, once made the comment at a meeting that Kevin Menon was the future of the department, and that the department should hire more people from Ivy League universities, referring to Menon because he's supposedly a graduate from Harvard. Well, it didn't work out too good with Menon for the LVMPD. He's a disgraced police officer, corrupt. There's many charges against him. Now, remember, in one of the podcasts I did, I think it was 157, I talked about comments that current and former Las Vegas Metro police officers were talking about on social media about the Menon arrest. And I have some more of those comments today from that site and from other sites on social media and people who comment to me. But I found this thing interesting. This is a citizen who commented on my X account a couple of days ago, and he says, why can't we have a transparent department and honest cops demanding integrity and tough love instead of weird shit going on all the time? No department is perfect, but we have some seriously questionable management. good thing Poppa tells us what's going on. I get a lot of these comments like this from people because I've been breaking stories, like I said the other day, on the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department for years. The 74-year-old woman, Paula Prado Zuniga, I broke that story, stabbed over 60 times while Las Vegas Metro police officers were outside her apartment, heard her screams as she was being killed, wanted to go in to save her life, and were told to stand down by the sergeant. The 12-year-old girl, back in 2019, I broke that story. Another story never touched by the media. Kidnapped and raped while going to school because of the incompetence of the sexual assault detectives back in 2018 when the same suspect kidnapped and raped an 11-year-old girl. And they didn't follow up on anything, and the guy was out. A year later, he kidnaps and rapes a 12-year-old girl. I broke that story. That also never hit the media. The lieutenant who built the department had thousands of dollars in overtime because he was staying home, not going to work. I broke that story. That's another thing the department didn't let the public know about. And there's multiple stories, ladies and gentlemen, over the years that I broke because the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, both under Joe Lombardo and the current sheriff, Kevin McMahill, who was a documented liar and documented pervert per a 1995 Internal Affairs Bureau investigation. He should have been charged in 1995 with oppression, but he had a guardian angel. Let's read these comments. This is another comment from a police site where they talk, and this is, I believe this is a retired cop. I don't think he's active. And he responded to somebody, said that is true, and they're basically talking about Captain Stephen Connell. And then he says, he was in modified academy. That was going on during my academy. And I talked about that the other day because Stephen Connell was a police officer in Colorado before he got hired by Metro. And if you went through an academy in another state, a lot of the times when you go to Metro, you don't have to go to the full academy. You go through called a modified academy, and that's what he's talking about here. And then he goes on, he says, it's absolutely amazing, though Spring Valley, he got to walk. Now he's talking about Connell because Connell was the bureau commander years ago of the Spring Valley Area Command. And then he says, it does it again. And now the lower people suffer. I'm not excusing anyone underneath him, but the fact that there's no accountability for him is absolutely disgusting. Now he's talking about the Spring Valley Area Command under Captain Connell's command. And I'll talk about that in a second because I got some information on that. These are some more comments relating to Captain Connell from police officers. Sadly, the Convention Center Area Command is under the, quote, leadership, unquote, of Steve Connell. And this is precisely his MO at any station that has been under his command. Spring Valley Area Command, South Central Area Command, and sadly, now the Convention Center Area Command. And remember, I said the other day, Steve Connell was the captain at the Convention Center Area Command, which covers the Las Vegas Strip, during the incidents with Kevin Menon and the other cops on Menon's Flex Squad. And then the person goes on and says, it's confounding how much he continues to get away with. With continued quote-unquote leadership such as his, Metro should be concerned about consent decree. Means a consent decree is when they pay off, even sometimes before a lawsuit is filed, and they don't admit guilt, but they get all the attorneys, they work out the deal with the money, and that's what they do. Remember, when I broke the story on, I think it was the second podcast I did on Menon, about the lawsuit that was filed by the doctor, the surgeon. That was the second story that I broke. That lawsuit was paid off, I think, August 30th. And then another person responds and says, he has a long history of disregard for civil rights. And then response to that, he most certainly does. Disorderly conduct is the go-to arrest for Connell in his unending quest for stats. The DA denies most of them too. And then referring to Sergeant Menon, this person says, Menon, only a few months as sergeant on the flex team. Remember, he was only a sergeant on that flex team for a few months at the Convention Center Area Command. That's what this person's referring to. And then it goes on, it says, I wonder what could possibly make him think that he could get away with this, meaning Menon. That's a very good question. It's also very telling to hear all these very junior P numbers, badge numbers, they call them P numbers at Metro, they're not badge numbers, junior officers hoping to make a good impression on their chain of command. Remind me, who again was at the helm of this chain of command? Yeah, which was Captain Connell. And then goes on here, another comment, it says, yep, what they are saying on the LVMPD social media page is 100% spot on. Remember I said about that site where I got those comments the other day? Go back and look at that podcast I did. I'll have it in the link in the section where those cops are making comments about Menon's arrest. So this person is saying, yeah, what they are saying on the LVMPD social media page is 100% spot on. I tried to call this out and got hammered. Yes, if you know, the instigator, Connell, has been protected for years. This started under his watch at Spring Valley Area Command, then repeated at South Central Area Command, and now Convention Center Area Command. Boots on the ground get hammered, major discipline and/or fired for going against these literally crazy and illegal dictates. Those who go along with it when caught are the fall guys. Menon is surely an idiot and should be held accountable, but the captain needs to finally be called out for this continued behavior. Now, I would love to get Captain Connell, because you got to give him, I like to get his side of this stuff. But these were what current and former cops are saying. Now, I also got some information on this. Retired Deputy Chief Kelly McMahill, she's the wife of Sheriff McMahill. She retired, I believe, when Kevin McMahill was running for sheriff. When she was on the department, sources are telling me that she had several run-ins with Connell over the years because of his tactics, allegedly skirting the Constitution and police policy. That's what I was told. And that's Kevin McMahill's wife at the time. She was on the department, reached the rank of deputy chief. And then I heard that the complaints she made about Connell over the years fell on deaf ears. Public has a right to know what's going on in their police department. So when I get this information, I put it out. Metro or anybody I mention in these podcasts can come out and respond or challenge the things that I say on this podcast. And so far for years, they have never done that. More comments here. And I mentioned this the other day. This is the third flex team under Connell's command that has come under scandal/scrutiny. Connell escapes disciplinary action. Connell always lands on his feet. None have made it to the local media because all this was hushed up. Well, the Menon made it to the media only because I broke that story on May 27th. And sources are telling me that had I not broke that story, they're not too sure that it would have turned out the way it did with Menon being arrested, meaning that they're insinuating that there would have been another cover-up and nobody would have known about it. But I broke the story May 27th, and now everybody knows about it. Getting back to the Spring Valley Area Command, allegedly, flex team officers, when he was in charge of the Spring Valley Area Command, the bureau commander, one flex team officers were having sex with confidential informants. One officer tipped off a suspect that a search warrant was going to be executed at his home. And that was uncovered during the investigation of a cop that sent a text message to a bad guy. Some officers were terminated. Others received major suspensions. And one, I believe, what they're telling me, went through arbitration and got his job back, but that may be with the South Central one because I got these things a little bit mixed up from the people who would give me all this information. And that flex team at the time at the Spring Valley Area Command was disbanded. Then when Captain Connell was the captain, the bureau commander at the South Central Area Command, that flex team allegedly was making bad/false arrests for gun charges. One officer was captured on video calling a suspect with dreadlocks an N. I heard that that officer was terminated, but that's the guy that I believe they're telling me that got his job back through arbitration. One of the fired officers, reference to this, they're telling me he went to work at MGM Resorts International as an armed emergency response team officer. How many officers under Connell's area commands have been fired and or given serious suspensions because of Connell's leadership? Again, that's coming from police officers, both current and retired. I know some of this stuff, people, it sounds crazy, but, hey, I've broken so many stories over the years, even when I was getting the information on the Menon case. Remember, I broke that story on May 27th, but I was working on that for 2 weeks while cops were telling me what was going on, and I was like, I didn't believe it. It sounded something that would happen like decades ago. I mean, the false arrest, and it turned out all to be true. It was also on my X. I posted this the other day. Let's get it up on the screen for you. Okay. And it was a video. I'll play the video here in a second. And I said, update, don't trust LVMPD crime statistics. Sources say violent crime classifications are still being downgraded before entry into the P1 system. I remember the other day I said the P1 system is the Motorola report writing system where the cops put their reports in and everything, and so it's the P1 system. So, and then I go on, I say lieutenants, sergeants, and officers following orders from command staff. Nothing changed since I broke the story in 2021. And that was my ex the other day. I think it was the second to last podcast I did. I talked about a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department police officer, now retired, who, when they tell officers to reduce the crime classifications on crime reports, so violent felonies, sexual assaults, and robberies are downgraded to misdemeanors whenever they can. And I said that one officer told him basically, shove it, he wasn't going to do it. I said he's now retired. Well, that's the gentleman you see up on the screen there. He's retired now. That's veteran officer Eddie Leneve. He's a former robbery detective. Before he retired, he was out at the Airport Bureau. And you can go back, and I'll have the link into this episode. It was episode 74 when I broke that story, and that was from November 14th of 2021. And I did a follow-up story when Sheriff Lombardo had his deputy chief at the time, Andrew Walsh, harassed this guy and asked him if he was my source of information, which he wasn't, but they harassed him anyway. And like I said in that episode, they worry about who's leaking information when they should be worried about the stuff they've been doing that's not only some of it criminal, but unethical on the police department for years, and nobody has the guts in the chain of command to come out and say anything about it to stop it. But this one police officer, Eddie Leneve, did. He was a hero police officer for trying to save somebody's life years ago, and he basically told them, fuck you, I'm not changing my report. Anyway, it's a long episode. Well, it's only about a 15-minute episode, but it's very interesting, well worth watching. So that's Eddie Leneve there. Eddie Leneve, good man. The guy had some guts, and he stuck by his principles and did the right thing. Okay, got the audio back on. Okay, folks, so that gave you an update. Like I said, the full episode links will be in the description section of the episode when I publish it on YouTube. And it gave you a synopsis of what's going on with the Menon investigation and Captain Connell. There's a lot more stuff coming out I have in the next couple of weeks and next couple of days on this, and then some other stuff that I was apprised of just last week on another alleged cover-up. I'm still digging into that. So that's what we got. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to play it's only a couple of seconds that I'm going to play, but it was aired on October 18th, KTNV 13, Action News, Las Vegas. Add this, it's about 3 minutes, over 3 minute segment that they had. It's on the Menon, but I want to play just a couple of seconds, and I'll have the full link to the video, the little clips you're going to see here in a second, like I said, in the description section. Also, a link to the printed story that they did before they did the news broadcast, because there's a lot of stuff in the printed story, and it'll get you up to date on the Menon investigation and what's going on. So let's get that video excerpt. It's only a couple of seconds, but
I reviewed more than 400 pages of grand jury transcripts detailing how Metro Sergeant Kevin Menon may have used illegal tactics to make arrests here on the Las Vegas Strip.
What did I do?
Fabricating reasons to stop people and arrest them.
I'm not doing nothing.
Metro Sergeant Kevin Menon is accused of doing just that while working at the Convention Center Area Command. He was in charge of the Flex Squad, a team of uniformed and plainclothes officers who proactively hunt for crime.
I don't know him, bro.
This arrest is from April 26th at the Cromwell Sportsbook and was shown to a Clark County grand jury who indicted Menon earlier this month for a number of charges, including oppression and battery.
What I do, man?
okay, folks, that was only a couple of segment podcast, but you'll have the link into the whole 3-minute episode, so you can see it. It'll be in the description section. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. We're at 41 minutes, not too long, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. And remember, you can support me at paypal.me/Doug Poppa. If you work independent, I make no income from what I do. And then contact me at dpop@proton.me. It's an encrypted email service. No BS tips and stuff like that. That's where people are reaching out. So we'll see you on the next episode, and thanks for watching again.
If I wouldn't do it all over again, I would take the badge and I would leave it on somebody's desk and get out of police work.
One man who confronted truth and consequences.